All right, we're here with Franz Trisnati from Intelecis, and tell us a little bit about your business.
Sure, Dave. So I would consider our business more of as a mission-driven company.
Right.
Our mission is to influence, inspire, and empower those we touch to accomplish their goals. And what that might look like, for example, this week, one of our clients, Sarah, she works in the accounting department, and she had to run payroll. And something happened to her computer, I think a blue screen, and she was frantic. She had to run payroll for 130 employees. And one of our technicians got on there and was able to fix the computer, get her back up and running, and she was able to run payroll, and she was so thankful. So that's what it could look like for us to be able to help somebody, and so that they can accomplish their goals. But also, equally important is internally as well. It starts internally. If we're not empowering, we're not influencing, we're not inspiring our team internally, how can they do it externally to our clients? So we're very focused as well on professional and personal development of our people as well.
Yeah. So I love it. So tell us a little bit about your results from last year that kind of put you into this contest, that brought you into this room. What were some of the things that you were able to achieve in 2022?
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work. Yeah, it was a lot of hard work and a lot of focus. The focus part is something that's difficult for me. I've always had ADHD, so being able to focus last year was a huge milestone on just a couple things, and getting the team aligned to deliver the results that we had. So we primarily focused on inbound marketing, or online marketing, and the amount of leads that we generated was astounding. We had what I think some people might coin it as like one call closes. I don't mean anything negative by that if you're on the client side. So what that looks like is we would optimize content and have content that's relative to somebody who might be experiencing some sort of incident, say like ransomware.
Right.
And they found us on Google, and they would call us. And hey Dave, hey, we're looking for an IT company. We just got hit with ransomware. What can you do to help us? And I would let them know what we could do. First, I would find out what the situation is, and then most of the time I realized that the sense of urgency is pretty quick. And they're like, well, that sounds like a great fit. How soon can we be here?
Right.
And send them the Adobe sign with the Stripe credit card payment.
Yeah.
They do everything right there on the phone. So one call close.
Yeah.
So we had a few of those that really helped shorten that sales cycle.
Right.
So it wasn't just closing more MRR, but we were closing MRR and booking that revenue almost immediately.
Yeah.
And that made a huge difference. So we had a few of those type of opportunities. Overall, we won 10 new clients.
Okay.
And 4 of them were one call closes. And maybe 1 or 2 of them were 2 call closes, where they said, you know what, let me talk to management. And they called me back within a couple hours, and they said, let's move forward. Or they called me the next day and let's move forward. So overall, we went from about 600, I want to say about 630, 650,000 in annual recurring revenue to almost 2 million in annual recurring revenue. So we added over $1 million in annual recurring revenue.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So to follow up on that, then a lot of people, they watch this and they're like, okay, but I don't have the time, or I'm not sure how to implement to get those kind of results. What are some of the things that you were able to do? You talked about focus and things like that. What were some of the things you were able to do to implement and get that focus to get those results?
Well, first, what I really appreciated about Robin and TMT is creating the accelerator program. I've been a part of the community since, I would say, 2014. I first heard of Robin from Dave Ramsey's Entree Leadership podcast. And it was really timing. It was around the same month when I really started the business, and I had no idea what I was doing. And then I heard managed services, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. Let's look more into it. So I attended boot camp in 2014, but at that time I was really lost. Like there's just so much information, and Producer Club sounded great, so I joined for a year, and I'm like, wow, it wasn't for me. It was too much.
Right.
So I still stuck around the community and talked to a lot of really great people, and they personally mentored me to focus on certain things. And one of it was inbound marketing. And for me, I'm not a very technical guy. I'm going to put it this way, I'm not a very detailed person. So it's really hard for me to implement myself until I got somebody in-house to do it. And around the same time, that was, I think, like maybe around 2017, somebody had told me about the accelerator group, and I immediately joined. And in 2018, I was a part of a rapid implementation. And I think what comes with ADHD is just slow learning.
Okay.
I just learn things at a really slow pace. Either that, or I just need multiple repetitions.
You need the repetition, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I took it in, and I thought it was really good, but I was still all over the place and trying to do too many things at once. So somehow I was able to take the rapid implementation workshop again, which was fantastic, and I wasn't sure that was a thing, but somebody said, no, go ahead. You can definitely take it twice. So the second time worked really well. Charles Henson was my mentor at that time, and he really helped me focus and take one thing at a time.
Which was the inbound marketing, it sounds like was the real key for you.
Which was the inbound marketing definitely was the key, but it was the messaging. So it was creating a USP. It was creating the content is truly Robinizing our website. We use vertical action, and I really appreciate that relationship that they have with TMT. But getting the content to be where it's having that human interaction, where someone goes to the site and when they read it, they can identify it with us. So Charles really helped with coming up with that unique selling proposition. And that was part of that 90-day process. Making sure that we answer our phones live and Robinizing the website. Part of that human-to-human concept also is having my picture or my team's picture, having real-life photos, not just stock photos. And that was actually interesting feedback when people called. But by the time I met with them, they would make comments like, "Oh, I feel like I already met you. I feel like I already know you." Yeah. So I feel like that H2H concept really worked really well. So for me, I would say rapid implementation. If you got to take it twice or maybe 3 times, do it. The other thing is work with your mentor or your coach, and they're great. I've met a lot of coaches here, and I was really blessed and fortunate to have Charles as my coach. But when I saw Peter, when I saw somebody else who is a coach, I just grabbed them and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? And they're all very generous with their time and advice. So I would say get involved with the community and network, meet other coaches, and work with your primary coach and focus on the basics. That RIW, the Rapid Implementation Workshop, that in itself is gold. I mean, what we did when we just followed a few of the things in there, like the USP build out and building out testimonials, that even though that was in 17 and we took it again in 19, that turned to be one of the best things for us, because I feel like now this whole digital marketing and social selling is impacting the B2B market. And so when somebody goes to our site, not only are they seeing content that they can relate with, but they can see all of our testimonials that we put on there. Kind of like if you go to one of Robin's landing pages, right? So that social selling piece we picked up on. So we put testimonials on the website, but then also Google reviews as well. So we're very highly rated on Google, and I'm almost ashamed to say this, but I was able to take a couple months off during the summer, and the only thing that I do now is the sales side of things. So we have a great leadership team. We have a great team that runs everything. And what was interesting was during the summer when we were getting leads and our SDRs were passing them off to me, I was actually dropping some of these leads. These leads were falling through the cracks. But the interesting thing is these leads were calling us and emailing us and saying, hey, you know what? Why can't I get a call back? Or why can't somebody set up an appointment? I'm giving you guys the benefit of the doubt because I see the reviews online and I want to know what's so special about you
Created that
guys.
attraction.
Yeah, we created that traction.
Yeah.
So I am a little ashamed to say that, but we fixed that.
All right.
And it was really interesting to see the demand and
Yeah.
the interest that we're able to generate online.
So any last pieces of advice for the audience as they're listening? Anything you're like, well, I haven't talked about it yet, but here's something I'd really recommend if you're trying to have that breakthrough.
Yes, there's two.
Okay.
One is, I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. I think it was the online marketing training session that Robin did. If you just follow that, I mean, you're going to be 95% of the way there for the inbound marketing.
Yeah.
And what that looks like was having the right keywords, having the right USP, and this is probably more than 50% of the contributing factor in that training is getting your My Google Business profile set up.
Yeah.
Making sure you have that set up. Those clients who gave you testimonials, reach out to them, ask them to give you those testimonials on Google, get the 5-star review. So that training online itself is fantastic. So that's one thing that I would recommend is making sure you do that, and then also later on in that training we talk about, or Robin talked about the social media aspect of it, being able to when you're creating blogs for your website. And in addition, being able to syndicate that and distribute it on all your social media channels.
Yeah.
So that in itself, I mean, that's what helped contribute to the online leads. So specifically, look for that training, do that, follow it, and it's not one and done. You got to continue to create content.
Right.
I believe we created over 200 blogs last year alone.
Yeah.
So it's about keeping it updated and relevant with the content. So that's one training that is pivotal, and in there in itself is what I would consider a campaign itself is the SEO portion of that and the Google My Business.
Yeah.
So to me that was a huge campaign. Yeah. We can go deep and be happy to share with anybody who asks me about that, how we did that within that training program. It's full of very, very relevant information.
I love it.
And the second thing is
Okay.
I love what Robin did this year with the I can't remember the name, the house resources, the residents, the
Experts in residence.
experts in residence, yes, like yourself. And we went to Austin for Q1 Producers Club.
Yep.
And we heard John DeJulius, CXO, and immediately I promoted our client success manager to be CXO because that's he identified with the message and he wanted to implement the Intelecis way.
Yeah.
And so that's the second thing is not only are there marketing campaigns and MSPs who are looking to grow their business and they're just starting off. Not only is there a wealth of knowledge through TMT, but also there's a lot of MSPs in Producer Club, and hundreds of them, and they can be taking advantage of the resources that Robin's added this year.
Yeah.
And so for us, what that looked like was promoting Charlie to CXO, and then we also hired another person who has no IT experience. He came from the hospitality field, and he's our chief people officer.
Okay.
So he's there to take John's certification along with Charlie, and he's developing our people to ensure that they walk, talk, eat the Intelecis way, and to coach them personally and professionally. So that's what I would say is for the members who's been here, I mean, take advantage of all the resources that she's adding on, and so grateful that somebody that somebody like Robin came up with that idea and just wanted to add more value to our membership. So I feel like that's invaluable.
Perfect. I love it. Thanks, Franz.
Thanks, Dave.